the UES with Ardupilot that I decided to research was the E400 VTOL by Event 38 Unmanned Systems. So the reason that I decided to look up this aircraft is because I have been interested in Aggie Air's Great Blue for a while. I think it's a neat aircraft and it has lots of cool capabilities. But as I was looking up Great Blue more for this assignment, I couldn't find anywhere that they mentioned Ardupilot being installed on Great Blue. I looked on their website and even on their Facebook page, and they didn't mention it anywhere. So I went looking out for another aircraft that was similar to Great Blue that mentioned that they have Ardupilot installed, and I came across the E400. As you can see from these pictures, they are very similar aircrafts, but Great Blue has this V-tail in the back here, where the E400 has a straight tail. And also they have some slight differences in the way their propellers are positioned. Like this one has downward facing propellers here in the front, where Great Blue has upward facing propellers everywhere. So what makes me interested in aircrafts like the E400 and Great Blue is that they are VTOLs, which I think are really cool. So it has the advantages of being able to do vertical takeoff and landings, which really makes it more capable of being able to take off and land in different places. With a traditional fixed wing, you have to have a larger area to take it off and especially to land it in. But with the E400, you can fly it to a small clearing and just put it straight down, so you don't have to worry about that. And then because it is a fixed wing as well, it has greater endurance than a conventional quadcopter. So you can do that vertical takeoff, and then you can just switch over to the single propeller, and it can take off flying forward, which will conserve a lot of battery, and it can like glide on thermals and so on and so forth. They were saying on the E400's website that it can get 80 minutes of flight time, which, you know, is a long time to be flying a drone in the air. So if you need to go out and like take photos of like a river or a field or something like that, or like map it out kind of thing, you have a long time to work with to get that job done. And then also, because of the vertical takeoff and landings, I believe that it gives it better payload protection, because you can have a camera strapped on the bottom like you see right here, and then when it goes to land, it can just land straight down and it'll help protect the camera, as compared to with a traditional fixed wing. When you go to land, it can be kind of dangerous for the payload that you put underneath, because it's like exposed to moving ground, or as you move over the ground, it's exposed to the ground and it can snag or hit on stuff. So any special setup and the Ardupilot being on board, so because it is a VTOL, they had to change the traditional Arduplane software a little bit to customize it for their plane so that it can do those vertical takeoff and landings, but then switch to the single propeller. So you do have to make some modifications to the base Arduplane software. So they, on their website, they put it pretty out front and clear, like when you go into the E400's like section of their website, it states very clearly that they have a custom flight software based on Arduplane 4.0.3 stated right there, and on the little pamphlet that they have for it, for the E400, it's stated on that pamphlet as well. So it's not hard to find where they've listed that Arduplane is installed on it. It's not like they're trying to hide it or anything like that, so that's a good thing. Some events that they've been part of, is that Event 38 recently delivered an E-400 to the Air National Guard's 178th Wing, Fire, and Emergency Management Teams. So they delivered this plane so that it can be used in emergency situations to help monitor the situation and get a first glance of what is happening. So the aircraft was customized for them with live streaming thermal and RGB video payloads, and they made them a custom all-in-one handheld ground control station, which I thought was really cool. So that way everything they need to fly and monitor the plane and the situation that's happening in front of them is just right there in a handheld device. But I thought it was really cool that they have partnered with the Air National Guard to be able to help out in these emergency situations, and they actually went out when they delivered it and spent a couple days training the Air National Guard people on how to take care of the plane and how to fly it properly, which I thought was really cool of the company to do. And then another thing that I wanted to mention, it's not the E-400, but Aggie Air's Great Blue, which is a very similar aircraft, is recently used at the Northrop Grumman's test facility, where they were testing NASA's SLS FSB-1 rocket motor. It was recently used out there to collect data on the aerial particles that were put up from the rockets. They were able to measure the amount of particles that were in the plumes using the cameras and the other sensors that are on the Great Blue UAS. And they'll be able to use these to better model weather dynamics that happen during testing of these rockets so that they can use that information for the future. So I thought that was another cool application that has been used with an aircraft that is very similar to the E-400. But that's the end of my presentation. Here are all the references where I found all this information. Thank you for watching and have a great day.